Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast. I don't know why she's talking about her being a lesbian, but obviously she wasn't a lesbian when she was with YG, but now but wouldn't that make her bisexual? Anyways, what up? It's your boy Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Wednesday morning, my third favorite day of the week. It's hump day. We are close to the weekend, and for those of you living in Canada, it's a long weekend, so I'm excited. I had a long weekend last weekend and a long weekend this weekend. My favorite 2 weekends of the summer. All right, let's get this show on and cracking. I got 3 lead stories for you guys. We're going to talk about Stephen A. Smith. We're going to talk about Iman and Teyana Taylor's divorce. Then we're going to talk about Celine Dion. All right, stay tuned for that. Celine Dion has a series that just is out on Prime. I mean, they have released some shocking videos that we really need to talk about, especially for those in the Montreal area. We know Celine Dion is the queen or princess, whatever you want to call it, of Montreal. So we got to talk about Celine Dion. Then we're going to jump into quick news. We're going to talk about Kendrick Lamar, Kehlani, and Ariana Grande. Then we're going to jump into question of the day, and then we're going to close out, as we always do, with a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, radio, your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Stephen A. Smith criticizes Diddy for deleting his apology video to Cassie after clearing out his Instagram account. Stephen A. Smith says, it comes across as you're wanting to erase everything as opposed to wanting to take accountability. So Stephen A. Smith shared a few words for Diddy after the mogul recently cleared his Instagram account. Stephen A. Smith says, Stephen A. says, if anything, his apology to Cassie should have remained on the page, as it appears he's trying to erase everything that has happened. So I really wanted to talk about this because I'm a big fan of Stephen A. Smith. I watch First Take all the time. You guys know I'm a big Shannon Sharpe fan. Always supporting anything those two brothers are doing. And love that Stephen A. Smith is trying to start his own podcast. I always allude to the fact that, you know, podcast and YouTube is going to be bigger one day than mainstream television. You just watched the NBA Finals and you saw it was brought to you by YouTube TV. And you're seeing a lot of these big stars go to YouTube, you know, and as a YouTuber myself, someone that has a podcast, I like to amplify that. And the more stars you see going there just solidifies the space. All right. So that being said, just wanted to make sure that I don't come across as a hater. Now, Stephen A. Smith, with all the love and respect I have for you of your 30-year career, you entering into the podcast space, not you entering the podcast. The way you're entering in the podcast space to me seems way overforced. And I'm just saying this out of love, if you ever do see this. We all know that Shannon Sharpe had the Cat Williams interview that literally exploded as one of the most watched interviews of all time on YouTube. He's made millions of dollars off of it. The clips were over 100 million views, blah, 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 blah. And it feels like Stephen A. Smith is taking incidences like out the blue and trying to make viral moments to try to keep up with some of the people that are online having viral moments, i.e. Shannon Sharpe, Joe Budden, Charlamagne the God. And you can literally like hear it in his voice like it's not sounding natural. I have a little clip of what he's talking about with Diddy. I'm going to play it for you, and then I'll point out some things after. Take a listen.
I don't want to use the word tricky or whatever, but one would argue foolish on the part of Sean P. Diddy Combs. My man, you deleted all the videos from your Instagram account, including that one I just showed. If you had 1 million videos, that's the one you should have kept up.
You see, if you could just hear in his voice, he's not having like a normal conversation. And him and I do the exact same podcast where it's just me and the microphone talking to the audience, right? And it's just not coming across as natural. Second thing is like, did he erase his Instagram account? I don't know, 3-4 days. I didn't even talk about it. A couple of sites spoke about it and shed light on it, and nobody really seemed to care. And it feels like Shannon Sharpe is like, hey, nobody's talking about this. Let me highlight this so that every blog could take it up and make it something, and then people know that I have a show. Where it's like, and then it's happening, but it's happening in the reverse. You know what I mean? Like, people are, blog sites are reporting Stephen A. Smith's coming out with this wild thing that no one's talking about that happened a couple of days ago, and he's getting dragged in the comment section. So, like I said, that's why I wanted to talk about it. Just, you fellow podcasters, content creators out there, I think, in my opinion, it's more important to have longevity and have the viewer trust your opinion and trust your take, that it's coming from a genuine, authentic place of your real thought, than as opposed to it feeling like, Trent's take on this story is purposely trying to go viral and trying to make it on the blogs, because you're going to get, little peaks and valleys, but it's never going to come into a show, right? So that's just my advice, like something I want to talk about. Sometimes I do talk about podcasts and content creators and stuff on my show, so other content creators and podcasters can hear and just learn from the mistakes. And that's what I find it's even more important. Like, Stephen A. Smith is a big talent, but this is such a new space, and it just bothers me when I see people trying to take this space and think the only way is to have viral clips. And I'm not saying viral clips are not good, but they have to happen organically. And if you listen to Stephen A., it sounds as if you're trying to force the issue. Nobody cared about Diddy erasing his Instagram account. And if anything, just to add my 2 cents into it, if anything, it's like a cleansing, right? And it's like, you know what? That was the past. I have a new start, fresh start, whether he gets arrested or not, whatever. We're not talking about that, if they apply charges on him or whatever. And that's what everyone's saying in the comment section. It's his Instagram account. Like, let him just, he got dragged for that apology. It's not like he got rewarded. People are like, that was a horrible apology. What kind of apology was that? So if anything, it's the one good thing that Diddy has done, in my opinion. I've come on my podcast multiple times and been like, Diddy needs to get his butt off Instagram. Like, stop posting, stop, you're just making things worse for yourself. You guys have heard me say that millions of times on this podcast. So, it's his Instagram account to do whatever he wants. So everyone's saying in the comment section. And B, if anything, that cleansing and moving everything away is a good thing, right? So anyways, shout out to Stephen A. Smith. It's a new platform for you. I get it. I actually put a comment underneath this video. Hopefully he sees it, or hopefully, he gets this video to him. But Stephen A., you're going to be great in this new space. Just stop trying to force it. Everybody check out Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharpe, Club Shay Shay, Nightcap. And also make sure you check out and subscribe to your boy, the Trent Out Loud Podcast. Iman Shumpert reportedly, I really have a hard time pronouncing his name, sorry. Iman Shumpert reportedly ordered to make a 7-figure payment to Teyana Taylor as part of their finalized divorce settlement. After more than a year of legal proceedings, a judge has officially finalized Teyana Taylor and Iman's divorce. Click on the link to hear the details. Okay, so I'm going to read you guys the details. I'm really happy this is over because I really love those two. You guys know I'm a big Teyana Taylor fan. And it literally got messy. She tried to hide the divorce. His lawyers were like, no, let's put it out in the air. And it just got messy. But here is the final, judgment or ruling, right? So according to the outlets, the Fulton County judge ruled that Taylor will retain 4 key marital properties. The properties are reportedly worth an estimated $10 million. So each property worth close to $2.5 million. Meanwhile, the judge reportedly ruled that Iman will remain ownership of his condo in Miami and 2 compound properties in Georgia. The former NBA baller will reportedly have a hefty payment to his ex-wife. The outlets add that Iman has been ordered to make a one-time 7-figure payment to his ex. However, the outlet did not disclose the figure. So anywhere between $1 and $9 million. In addition, Shumpert will reportedly pay Teyana Taylor $8,000 a month in child support for their daughters. Furthermore, the former NBA player is reportedly responsible for covering 100% of his daughter's private school fees. Lastly, the outlets add that Teyana Taylor has been awarded a series of vehicles, including a Maybach, Mercedes Sprinter, a tour bus, and her prize Bronco truck. The singer will also reportedly retain 100% ownership of her companies, TaylorMade and Aunties. Meanwhile, Shumpert will keep all his Shumpert's investment, which reportedly boasts a diverse portfolio spanning across various sectors. So it looks like they got to keep their respected businesses. We don't know what those businesses are and investments and what they're worth, but it looks like that was divided up equally, which I think that's probably their biggest asset, because even if it's not big now, those things could grow in 15 to 20 years. She got a couple of houses. She got a one-time payment, which, who knows, let's put it down the middle, $5 million. Properties, which is $10 million. And, he's paying $8,000 for her daughters. So it seems like it was a pretty fair deal to me. Doesn't seem like you got like totally cleared out, but at least it's done. It's over with. We don't have to talk about it anymore. I've literally been talking about this for like a year now on this podcast. So shout out to them. Hopefully they could remain amicable and friendly to their two daughters. I just really love them, man. All their like Christmas cards and their stuff. I think they had a little reality show or something too, but I just used to follow them online. They're like a great couple, man, and I'm a big Teyana Taylor fan. So shout out to them. I'm glad it's all over, and it got a little messy, but it ended off nice and neat. So shout out to Teyana Taylor and Iman. All right, in our third and final lead story, Celine Dion shares a vulnerable scene of her suffering scary seizures in her new documentary footage amid stiff person syndrome battle. It's no secret that Celine Dion has been very candid about her health journey as she battles having stiff person syndrome. In her documentary, I Am Celine Dion, she includes a very vulnerable scene of her suffering a seizure. Celine Dion says, part of the disease is that as soon as you go into a contraction, sometimes the signal to release it doesn't understand, so it ends up just staying in a contracted position. Oh, sorry, this wasn't Celine Dion. This was the sports medicine therapist explained. Stiff person syndrome is a rare and progressive neurological disorder. During the scene, the doctor has her lying down on a massage table while she's spasming, which the doctor said could lead to a crisis. The sad part was witnessing the tears being flowed by the 56-year-old Celine Dion's eyes as she lay there immovable on the table. Celine Dion is only 56 years old? Wow. I thought she was much older than that. Wow, she's so young. Wow. She says the spasms make her feel embarrassed. She says, I don't know how to express it. Like, it's just, like I have no control over myself. Oh, that is really, really sad. I have a little clip. I'll play it for you guys. I don't know if those of you who are not seeing the video will be able to will be able to understand, but just listen to the sounds and you could tell the hard time she's having. Take a listen.
1, 2, 3. She might be in spasm. Yeah, I gotta get her hand up.
Good. With your blood sugar, good.
Oh, that is really difficult to watch, man. I've seen all the press that Prime has been doing for I Am Celine. I haven't watched it yet, and I'm going to watch it this weekend. After seeing this and reading about it and knowing how young she is, I don't know for some reason why I thought she was so much older. I know her husband, Renee, was a lot older than her, and he passed away, but wow, man. Anyways, shout out to Celine. I hope she gets better. They say it is a disease that just keeps on getting worse, and I don't think there's any like cure for it. But yeah, really sad. But she obviously just definitely wants to bring attention to it. So for those of you who do have Prime, make sure you check out Celine Dion. And like I said, as a Quebec native, a Montrealer, Celine Dion. I think they said in every home in Quebec, 1 in every 3 homes has a Celine Dion CD. That was like back in the day when everybody had CDs. But yeah, I mean, she is, probably the most famous Quebecer to ever live. So anyway, shout out to Celine Dion. I hope you get better. Praise, love and kisses and praises out to you from all of us here at CFQR 600 Montreal. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Recording Academy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. says Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us Drake diss is eligible for a Grammy. I don't understand why this is news. Like, it's a song, it's a signal, like it's a single. Why the hell wouldn't it be nominated or eligible? Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us is one of the hottest tracks on the planet, and according to the Recording Academy CEO, he says the diss track winning a Grammy might not be conventional, but nothing is impossible. TMZ Hip Hop spoke to the Grammy CEO at LAX, where he said he was feeling the cultural avalanche of not like us, just like how everybody else is. The Recording Academy voters will ultimately be the decision makers, but Harvey doesn't think Kendrick Lamar's testy lyrics will neither sway nor repel members of the committee. Okay, I see why. I guess because it's, he's talking about, I don't even want to say it because YouTube flags us, but the P word, the people that likes kids, a couple of things. I guess the tone of it is a little bit racy, so I guess that's why they're like, it might not be eligible. But I've never heard of something like that. But maybe it might not win because of that. But I think anything that's I think the eligibility is just the fact that it's a single and it has to be put in a specific time frame. And just to let you guys know, just to remind you guys, Drake also won a Grammy for back-to-back against Meek Mill. So it's not like no diss song has ever won a Grammy. Of course, they're going to make such a big deal of it. Oh my gosh, more Kendrick and Drake beef. Kendrick beat blah, 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 blah. Give me a break, okay? We don't want to hear that in Canada, right? I bet you it ain't going to be up for a Juno Award. I bet you that. All right, in our second quick story, Kehlani expresses her support for Saweetie and YG's relationship. In a recent interview, Kehlani shares that she is happy for both YG and Saweetie in their relationship. Kehlani confirms that her and Saweetie are cool and there are no hard feelings. The singer discussed Saweetie showing love on her Instagram via IG. If you recall, Kehlani and YG dated from 2019 to 2020. Okay, I don't know why this is such a big deal. Like, Saweetie put like something underneath one of Kehlani's pictures, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, could they actually really be friends?" Like, give me a break. Here's a little clip from Kehlani. Take a listen.
So Saweetie left you this nice comment under your picture.
Yeah.
And listen, she might be still with YG and, you had ties with him. I think you're the coolest ex.
Well, I'm a lesbian. So, I also don't really care what any of my exes are doing. Male, female.
I don't know why she's talking about her being a lesbian, but obviously she wasn't a lesbian when she was with YG, but now is. But wouldn't that make her bisexual? Anyways, I love to see it. People could break up out of relationships and not have to hate each other. It's really good. Stop trying to make it messy, all right? Okay, I got a part 2 story about Kehlani. Let's go to quick news number 3. All right, in our third quick story, Kehlani speaks out about losing opportunities due to her advocacy for Palestine. Amid the release of her new album, Kehlani reflects on losing opportunities after she voiced support for Palestine. In an interview with The Breakfast Club, Kehlani says that while it was sad to lose certain opportunities and deals, she is happy she could sleep at night knowing she spoke out about an important cause. Just a few weeks ago, Kehlani voiced her support on Instagram on an Instagram post before featuring the Palestine flag in a music video for her song Next to You. So apparently she got backlash. Here's a little clip from The Breakfast Club. Take a listen.
How did your record label, and I guess just the industry period, react to your advocacy for Palestine?
I have experienced a lot of pushback. I've experienced a lot of loss. At the end of the day, I don't regret doing something that I can go to sleep at night.
Yo, shout out to Kehlani for that. As somebody who speaks his mind every day on my platform, it is not easy. A lot of people take it for granted. And, especially her as a big artist speaking out, I 100% respect it. Regardless of whatever side you're on, for her, it makes her comfortable to sleep at night, knowing that she would rather sacrifice a few dollars than to feel something and not speak it. There's some people who don't want to speak it for whatever reasons, and that's cool too. Not judging anybody, but just wanted to shout her out for that. And you guys let me know what you think about her stands. Let me know what you think about the industry giving backlash to some people that speak their mind that doesn't align. Let me know what you think. Send me an email, trent@cfqr600.com. Comment below or send me a DM at any of my social handles, Trent Out Loud or Exclucity Media. All right, this brings us to our fourth quick story. I don't know if I said last time third and final, but we do have four. So this is the fourth and final quick story. Ariana Grande said she was infatuated with serial killers when she was younger, admits she would love to have dinner with Jeffery Dahmer. He's pretty fascinating. All right, I don't have nothing to say. I'll just play the clip.
Oh, but I was infatuated with serial killers when I was younger. Someone said, if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, who would it be? I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer's pretty fascinating.
I think it's a little disrespectful to the families that were affected by serial killers and serial killers. Sorry, I was track of mine here. Serial killers. And like, I understand saying like, hey, I'm fascinated by watching or learning or hearing the stories, or I even understand saying I would love to interview him, or I would love to get into his mind or their minds to figure out why they do that or whatever. But to sit down and just be like, yeah, I was fascinated with serial killers and like, oh, just like to have dinner with them. It's like, I feel it's just disrespectful to the families that are affected by serial killers. So I don't really think it's that funny, to be honest with you. All right, this brings us to question of the day. Who do you think is the most influential celebrity on social media right now? All right, Hadley_Parker says no one, because none of them influence me to do ish. Welcome to Jamrock says in my Keith Sweat voice, nobody. For the R&B heads out there, you understand that joke. Her_journey said Kendrick the GOAT had all of them on stage to brought them all together, the best performance in a crowd. Okay, that's not really an influence because you have a hot song out there. Be Straight 10 again said Keith Lee. Okay, Keith Lee is definitely influential. He is going to restaurants, doing reviews in his cars, and there's lineups like crazy. I'll truth be told, I took this question of the day because I really don't think there's really any influencers out there anymore. I agree with the first person, but this Keith Lee one is 100% right. So I stand corrected. But trust me, I'll tell you at the end, but I think things are changing. Sweet Summer VX said, make sure y'all know what influencer means before answering. Somebody said the Hawk 2 girl. That's funny. I'm sitting here trying to figure out who the hell influenced me to do anything. Braun _ said influential to whom exactly? Ant39 said folks stop saying Kendrick. Exactly. Somebody put like a sleeping emoji. Somebody says no darn buddy. Spark _ said the gecko from the Geico commercial. The 70 Keel said people are celebrity obsessed. Who could even answer this? Agreed. Diamond Make SoCal said Taylor Swift just made the NFL international, so there you have it. Okay, relax. Taylor Swift brought viewership to a demographic that the NFL didn't have, which is teenage girls. The NFL will be all right without Taylor Swift. They were all right before and will be all right after the Swifties go away. All right. Somebody said Jesus. All right, that's a fact. L.A. Mancha said Kim Kardashian because she could do anything. Somebody said none of them. Megan, she's a college grad into her fitness and wildly successful in her career. I want to be like her when I grow up. I don't know if Megan Thee Stallion is really influential. She's hot right now, but I don't know if she's influential. Somebody said Kai Cenat. Okay, I'll give you that. Like, Kyson really doesn't influence. He more kind of entertains and dance, and he's really like a comedian. But I could see him having some influence. I'll give you that. Donald Trump, he will win and unite the country as one. Okay. Somebody said sadly the Kardashians, Bad Gyal Riri, Beyonce. All right, so I agree with most of these people. I think 10 years ago, when social media really started taking off and booming, I think the first 5, 6, 7 years, you really had a lot of influencers really influencing on social media. But now I think because so many people are so heavily dependent on social media that I don't feel like there's one major influencer like how it used to be back in the day, and everybody's in their own like micro bubble. And I would say the influencers are like the local like food people. Like I follow a Montreal one that was like, Montreal restaurants or Montreal terraces, and you're like, oh, I heard that one, or I went to that one, that was really cool. Oh, they put this, you know what I mean? I think it's just like very hyper local, like these food pages. That's what I think. I think Instagram is influential and not necessarily a person. Where I think 5 years ago, a person could sway things, but I think that Instagram has just gotten too big. Social media has gotten too big. There's so many users. There's so much information that the only thing that's influential now are like these pages. There's food pages, or there's a million different things, right? Travel pages, et cetera, et cetera. But you're not going to hear like, oh, this person said that I should go to Dubai. I'm going to Dubai because that person said that. And that is totally out the window. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that question. All right, this brings us to sports news. All right, Bronny gives perspective on just being able to hear his name called. All right, so LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, spoke to Bronny, and I don't know who. Oh, Rich Paul was speaking on Gil Arena's podcast. Shout out to another podcast content creator. Anyways, here's a clip. Take a listen.
I sat with him in my office and I said to him, Bronny, what's important to you? You know what he said to me? Rich, I just want to hear my name called.
So that's nice that Bronny just wants to hear his name called. But that seems to me personally, that he doesn't necessarily like believe in himself or his career. Like, it doesn't matter what place, hope I just get picked. Like, no, you want to be a first round draft pick. Like you want to be top 5 draft pick if you feel like you're that good to deserve that. You know what I mean? When Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, all the WNBA players, like you think they were like, I just want to hear my name called. They're like, no, I want to go top 5, man. I want to go top 10. You know what I mean? You don't want to get drafted. I just want to hear my name called. You do if you don't believe that you're that dude. So that just shows me that I feel like he's lacking a little bit of confidence in himself. He has been getting dragged by a lot of scouting reports or whatever, blah, blah, saying that he's not ready. And, a lot of people blame this on LeBron James himself. Why are you putting pressure on a kid like that? Why are you, we all know how focused LeBron is just to play with his son. And I have said repeatedly, as much as I love the LeBron James family, Savannah, just their whole unit, the stuff that they do for culture and everything. I just don't think it's super healthy for that to be the ultimate deciding end goal. Like, I want to play on the team with my son. Like, it should just be, I just want my son to be the greatest basketball player ever. That should be your goal. That should be any athlete's goal. You play hockey, hey, my goal is to want to be the best at what I do. Not, if I could be the best and I just so happen to play with my dad, like great. But if you play 2 seasons with your son and he's horrible and he gets kicked off the team, are you guys going to like in 10 years from now be like, oh, that was so great that we played together, but what are you doing in your life now? Or would you have not rather play with your son, have him keep on playing in college, you retire, he gets there in a year or 2 years and he's amazing, and then he breaks all these records and he's, goes into the Hall of Fame. You want your son into the Hall of Fame, or you want to play with your son? This is my whole thing. I don't know why LeBron is making it a thing, but hey, whatever. Shout out to LeBron. All right, that's the show. Thanks for kicking it with me on this Wednesday morning. Let me do a little housekeeping before I go. For those of you who are used to watching this podcast on YouTube or on podcast platforms, please try to check me out on cfqr600.com from Monday to Friday from 11 to 12. We do play the Trent Out Loud podcast. We mix it in with 90s and 2000s hip hop and R&B. I select the music, so you know it's going to be dope. But yeah, check us out. It's a great way to break up the day. It's a great way to digest the podcast and hear some music while you're listening to some entertainment and sports news. On the flip side, if you're used to listening to this podcast on the CFQR600.com or on the radio in the Montreal area, and you can't always catch the show from 11 to 12, don't worry, we got you. Every podcast is uploaded on YouTube or our podcast platforms, so you can check it out on demand whenever you're ready to listen to the podcast. Just go to your desired site or platform, type in Trent Out Loud. The show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow or subscribe button so you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And for those of you who like to watch it on video, you can also now watch video on Spotify, not just on YouTube. And it's easier to actually watch the videos on Spotify because you could close the app and do a bunch of stuff if you're watching it on your phone. So those are all the ways to stay in touch and stay connected. Also, don't forget to check me out on all my social platforms, anyone you want, at Trent Out Loud, also on Instagram, Exclucity Media. And that's it, man. I will see you guys tomorrow. The long weekend is close. Even if you're in the U.S., long weekend is coming up because July 4th is coming up for you guys too, man. So we got 2 more days. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace.